Hey, what is up, YouTube? This is CroCune79 coming at you with a black and white Wi-Fi battle, and my opponent today will be Pokeluigimon, and I do forget the rest of his names. I think it's like 12321, something like that. I'm not sure, but his link will be in the description definitely. This is a pretty OU match. Let's see what just happens. Sorry about the tilt, guys. It's I don't have the world's like most stable webcam. But anyways, my opponent's gonna lead off with his Skarmory, where I lead off with Scizor. Here I'm gonna go ahead and just spot the the entry hazard setup, and I'm gonna go ahead and use the U-turn so I can try to break this thing's sturdy, and that way I can just come in and like revenge cube with Tran. That was the plan at the point, but as you can see that. I'm sorry, spaced out. Anyways, I do pull out the Tran to try to get a 2-hit KO out of this thing, because Skarm is a pretty much threat, and with his hazards and all, so I gotta get rid of this thing as soon as possible. But anyways, he sees the oncoming Lava Plume, or the Flamethrower, or Fire Blast, and he switches out into his special wall, which is Blissey. Blissey's a pretty gay wall in the OU tier. Since it moved up to OU, I personally do believe that Chansey belongs to the UU tier, because two of the same Pokemon in the same tier is pretty gay. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and switch out into my back out into Scizor, predicting some sort of status move, I'm guessing. And I predicted correctly, and he goes for the Wish. And now here, this next turn, I have no idea why, but instinctively I knew he was gonna try to switch. I knew he wouldn't want to stay in against this Scizor, so he takes the time to switch out here, and I go for the Pursuit. Again, I don't know how I knew that. It's just something that came to me out of nowhere. But as you can see, that Pursuit did a nice chunk, and he pulls out his Skarmory. So here I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take the time to switch out. I forgot into who. I think I switched out into my Tran. I'm not too sure. I'm sorry guys, I had this battle long ago. But anyways, I do switch on to my Heatran here, as he goes for his first layer of spikes, which is going to be pretty gay, I guess, because entry hazards. I don't have a spinner. I did have a spinner at one point in this team, but I decided to get rid of him because he wasn't really working well. But anyways, he goes out into his Patrick, or his Starmie here, just to try to revenge kill me, and I go for another Lava Plume, just trying to play it safe here, not trying to overpredict too early into the game. But as you can see, that Lava Plume did obviously nothing. So anyways, I'm going to take the time to switch out into my Virizion here, knowing it could take any hit and possibly, end up revenge killing this thing. But he actually predicts that very nicely, and he goes for the Ice Beam here. Kind of caught me off guard in a way, because when I started putting the cards down, he knew what was up. But anyways, as you can see, this is going to be an obvious 2-hit KO, and I pretty much have nothing I can do against this thing. He goes for the Hydro Pump, but misses luckily. That probably would have cost me a great dent to my team if he had hit the Hydro Pump indeed. But anyways, I go ahead and Giga Drain this thing, and I even get a useless critical hit, which furthers my winning, or furthers my reign over this thing. But anyways, his Starmie does die. I do take life for recoil, and he goes back out into his Hammerhead, or his Landorus. I knew Landorus was Scarfed or Banded. I knew it was choiced. I didn't know how or why. I just assumed it was choiced. I know it's a bad thing to do, but as you can see, I do have a Skarm here, so you can't set up if you wanted to. If he is choiced, that's good on him, I guess, because I guess Skarm just checks this thing any set it can have, possibly, unless it's like a +6 storage stance and he hits me with a Rock Slide. Then I'm gonna have a bit of trouble there. But anyways, he switches out here for his Espeon here. I'm guessing predicting the entry hazard, and he predicts. I kind of predicted that actually, because I was like, well, what if he, I kind of just like got on his shoes for a little bit, and well, you get the story. But anyways, he's gonna take the time to switch out here. And I'm gonna take the opportunity to switch out myself. I do believe. Or I do believe I used the Braver. I forget which one. I'm sorry, guys. This battle was a while ago, but I do end up switching out. I go onto my Pincher Nuts here, because I know Scizor can one-shot this thing from any range. But as you can see, it just left. So anyways, I do take some entry hazard damage here, which is starting to get to me. And I'm gonna go ahead and go take the time to use U-turn here because I know if I use superpower it's gonna be a waste of time, and you know what the story is. So anyways, I'm gonna head to take the same plan as I did at first. Just gonna head use the U-turn and going to switch out to my Heatran here to try to finish this thing off. So I pull out my Heatran, I hit Lava Plume again. There's really nothing safe you can switch into now because of the threat of it getting KO'd or soon to be KO'd, I guess. But anyways, he switches out here into his Blissey or his Chansey. And Chansey is probably like the only thing that can take a move. And I hit the Lava Plume, but I do not believe I get the burn. I do not get the burn, but I take the time to set up Stealth Rocks, knowing that he'd go for a useless Wish, and knowing that keeping Chansey alive would be a good way for me to win because I could use it as set a fodder in the future. So I'm gonna have to take the time to stay in and go ahead and go for that Roar. That way he doesn't receive the Wish, and something else does, and it does take Stealth Rock damage. But I guess the Stealth Rock damage doesn't really matter. So anyways, I roar this thing out, and I go ahead and pulls out Skarmory, which I was kind of glad it was the one to be pulled out, because if it wasn't, then I probably would have had some problems. But as you can see, my Hyperloon is popped, so that means if Landorus came out, you could have taken me out with a freaking Earthquake. But I go for the Lava Plume here. I was actually assuming that it would take down the Sturdy, but as you can see, it kind of takes that kind of well, and I was kind of surprised at that. I was hoping I would take down the Sturdy and get the burn and finish that thing off, but that doesn't happen. So anyways, here he makes a risky play here, a really risky play, but I have to give him props for what he did here. He switches out into his Landorus, but I'm guessing, just looking at it, that's the only thing he could really do, because my Tran can just pretty much roll this thing out, roll whatever comes, is Blissey out, and all that other business. But anyways, I use the Lava Plume again, and I don't get the burn, luckily for him. Now here I'm going to take the time to switch out for Skarmory, because knowing Skarmory can check this thing, I can set up entry hazards. So anyways, he goes for the Earthquake. That does absolutely nothing because I am part flying. Actually, I'm glad. But anyways, I'm sorry about that. I think he's going to take the time to pull out his Espeon again, predicting some sort of entry hazard. But right here, I was actually making this play for a while here, and I was like, okay, if I use Stealth Rocks or Spikes, it doesn't matter because, because I already have all 3 layers of spikes. He already has all 3 layers of spikes up. So here I was kind of pulling blanks. I didn't know what to do, and I came to the rational conclusion that I would keep using spikes until he switches out. Now this war didn't take forever because I'm gonna go ahead and give it away. After a while, he kind of caught on to what I was doing, because I was waiting for him to I was gonna either wait for him to switch out or wait for his screens to stall out and switch out into something safe, and then take it from there basically. So that was the plan for the while. It was a pretty risky plan, but in the end it worked, as you would be able to tell. I'm sorry guys, I really can't talk. But anyways, he goes ahead and goes for the Psychic. I keep going for the Spikes. I have 32 spikes, so it really doesn't bother me any day. So next turn I'm gonna go ahead and go for the Roost, just just try to further give my opponent a annoying time here. And this Psychic actually is quite a this again pitiful damage. Look at that. I have some specially defensive investments, but it's only like 16 or something like that. Not that much, but still enough for me to take hits and then retaliate with that. This Psychic actually does quite a bit because look at that. I think that was max damage or something. Or no, it's not this Psychic. It's the next Psychic. I'm sorry guys. I'm kind of just trying to talk around this stall war here. I know it's pretty gay. Anyways, let's just wait for it to be done. Actually, here it is. Fuck it. Yes. Finally, I know you guys are happy. But anyways, he finally decides to switch out, knowing that he's pretty much hitting a rock bottom. Here I go for the Spikes, and I get a successful layer of Spikes up, which kind of makes me happy. But here, I kind of looked at the damage, and I kind of just I was like, okay, maybe a Brave could take it down. And what further gave me the further confidence boost came from this Reflect wearing off. So I was like, if I win the speed tie, I can Brave Bird this thing and KO it. But as you can see, he uses the Roost, he wins the speed tie, and and fail at KOing this thing, which really doesn't matter in the long run. But anyways, I go ahead and go for the Brave Bird here again. Like, judging by that damage, I probably could have taken it down, but depending if that was max damage or not. But anyways, sorry about this, guys. Anyways, at this point, it's just a gay stall war. I set up my other layer of spikes as he goes for the Wolverine, I do believe. So I think it pulls out Latios because I was hoping, I was like, okay, Wolverine me out and pull me out into Latios. And luckily, I saw a Cherish Ball and I was like, yes, it's Latios. So knowing that Latios can, take this thing out with a Hidden Power Fire, I think he was on to me that I do have the Hidden Power Fire. And he, switched out from here, and he switched out into his Landorus, which Hidden Power Fire could have KO'd pretty much anything from, after the entry hazards. As you will be able to tell, this Landorus does go down to the Hidden Power Fire, and I am Choice Specs Latios too. I do believe I am Choice Specs. And as you can tell, that takes that thing down without a problem. So anyways, after his Landorus goes down, he pulls out his Chansey here. I knew after the entry hazards he wouldn't have enough health to try to wish, and then like... Oh no, he dies to the hazards, I'm sorry. I got it mistaken. But anyways, he pulls out his... Now he pulls out his Espeon here. This right here kind of like... I guess... I don't even know what to call it, but anyways, I pull out Latios here, and I switch out into my Virizion as Flotter here, because my plan was to pull out Virizion and to switch it into Scizor because I knew I could take a Psychic. Because I just knew I could take a Psychic for some reason. It was one of those things like from earlier that me predicting him to see, I forgot what happened earlier. I'm sorry, guys. But anyways, he goes for the screen. Not really gonna matter in the long run. You'll see him. But anyways, he sets up both the screens, and right here I just go ahead and go for the Giga Drain because I figured, hey, well, that's still a really good attack I could do against this thing. And as you can see, that did pitiful damage, and I get enough damage to where Life Orb can like nullify the Giga Drain can nullify the Life Orb damage taken. Anyways, he goes for the Psychic because because to finish off my Virizion here, because Virizion was pretty much useless at that point. And here I pull out my Scizor. Now at first I wasn't too sure that I could live a Psychic, but I kind of like knew I had to do this in order to win the game. As you can see, I take a ton of recoil, a ton of entry hazard damage, and he goes for the Psychic here, and I live with a safe amount of 4 HP there, and I go ahead and finish it off with a U-turn, and I switch out into Latios just to try to hidden power everything else on this team, and that will be the game actually. I do get a useless crit because Choice Band Scizor would KO this thing any day of the week. And there you go. There you have it, guys. My first upload to this channel. Well, this is my channel. But anyways, sorry about the gay narration. I will try to get better. It's just that, sometimes I do get a little nervous when I'm talking to... When I'm aware there's like a million people going to watch this, possibly. I do get a bit, anxiety because, well, I am kind of like socially awkward, you can say. But anyways, enough of my life story. My original channel is 13 Ultralord79. If you guys didn't know, well, most of you don't. But anyways, this is my first, like I said, this is my first upload here. I wish to upload more battles, but lower tiers, possibly mixed tiers. And I hope to like, I guess I just like want to do YouTube. I want to do YouTube. I think that's why I just started this thing again. I don't know. I was getting bored of my old channel. Like, there's really not much fun anymore, and I just want to see what a new channel will bring. And as you can see, that is the game. Good game, bro. I look forward to battling you in the future. Former complaints about this guy, there's really isn't none, but there's probably like one. Sometimes the hacks are, if the hacks are on my side a bit more than they're on his, then he's admitted to me that he's disconnected like once or twice, but nothing big. I guess it's just fair sportsmanship. He just wants everything to be even, which really doesn't bother me too much. But other than that, yeah, that's about it for the day.